morning, everybody. Welcome to another beautiful day. And got some, I would say, fun stuff doing today, but it's not exactly fun. I'm gonna tell you, it's not something that excites me, I guess you could say. But we are swapping out some tires on the tractor. So what I'm doing, and this might sound stupid, but the Parts 1086 has really bad tires on it, and I don't want to put new tires on it because it's a lot of money and I can't do that right now, and I don't plan on keeping it anyhow. So what I'm doing is putting some used tires on it, and they're actually a little bit bigger than what's on it right now as far as like width. They're 20.8s instead of 18.4s, and so they're actually kind of a little bit of a tight fit on that 16-inch rim, but they fit, and that's all that matters. So that's what we're doing. The reason I'm doing this, well, they got fluid in them, and I always, like, the last time I had one changed, I had fluid in, I was like, I don't have the stuff to do fluid, just call somebody to do it. Well, they screwed me out of a lot of money, and I wasn't happy. So I said, screw that, I'm doing it myself. So I bought me a pump, and yeah, so this will actually be the 4th tire change that I've done with the new pump. I did 2 for a buddy, and I did the other one on the tractor the other day, and now I'm doing this one, and that way I can show you the whole process. None of this is a how-to, obviously, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just swinging a bat, but figured it would make might be helpful. So yeah, it's really windy out today, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me very good. That's why I'm starting in the barn here, but I'm gonna go outside and try to explain, and we'll fire the pump up. Don't forget, if you haven't, subscribe, like, comment, and check out our podcast. It's called On the Fender. Me and a buddy of mine kind of started that, and we're slacking a little bit on it, just where things are getting busier, but we're planning on doing, we were going to do once every other week, and now we're kind of shifting to every month, once a month, just because we're both getting busy and it's getting that time of year again. But anyhow, check it out. It's on Spotify and Apple. It's called On the Fender, so check it out. All right, and I'm gonna try to stand where the wind's not blocking me. Here's my pump. This is not probably what you typically see people, I mean, it is, but it's a little bit different than what you would typically see a actual tire man use, just because it doesn't have the regulator and everything on it with the switch where you can control the flow back and forth, but it does what I needed to do. I did throw like a little air gauge on it so I could see, you know, obviously, because I don't want to tear it up and all that good stuff. And if I need to switch directions, I just have to undo the hoses and swap them. But everything else is the same. The part that goes on the valve stem is the same. Now, if you know, these valve stems, they've got a water valve, so they're like 2-piece. So the bottom of this screws on, the thread's there, and then this goes on, and this unscrews the water valve, and I will show you what that looks like. And there's already so much pressure in the tire, it's already going to start, you know, coming out just like that. So it's already going to start coming out. We'll turn the pump on, but as you can see, it's already coming out. This is the calcium that we pumped out of the other tire. I'm just pumping it out of both. I wasn't going to put calcium back, but I decided I would like the extra weight with the, as narrow as this thing's kind of set up, and I'm having trouble getting it widened out because I got a wheel wedge that's stuck and won't come undone, that I'm just going to throw a little extra weight in the tires to help keep me planted to the ground. And yeah, so we're going to dump both of them out and split it between the 2 new tires, just because I know one had more in it than the other did, and I'm trying to get it even. So yeah, we're going to turn this on. These things, usually there's around 100 gallons in them, like 100, 110, usually about 2 55 barrel drums. These other tires, I know they're a little bit wider, bigger. They'll hold a little bit more, but when I changed them the last time, they had about the same amount in them. This one's actually got a whole freaking bunch, and I'm not too happy with it just because, like, it's over the valve stem all the time. The only reason I didn't like that is just because I could, like, it was wanting to, like, the liquid was constantly in the valve stem. I just felt like it was bad for it. Like, you hit the little thingy when it's like it's very top and liquid just would spew out, kind of thing. So anyhow, we're just gonna split the liquid between both things, and yeah, so that kind of just goes like that and sucks it out, and when she gets close to being empty, we'll break the tire down and finish sucking the fluid out of it. Alrighty, well, it's emptied out enough that it started, you know, just barely putting anything out through the pump. So we went ahead, put our water valve back on, and now we will unscrew this, turn this pump on a little bit so it will not leak everywhere. That up through the pump. Set that up here. Turn the pump back off. And then we can unscrew the bottom part. And the stem. Throw that on there. And now we are ready to bust this bust this tire off the rim. And yeah, so to do that, I've got a little tool to help bust the bead. I've got a slide hammer thingamajigger, and then I've also got a bead buster, is what it's called, that clamps on here using impact, clamps on, pushes that tire right off the rim. So we're going to rotate this tire and get this stem up top so that we can take that water valve out, so that any air and stuff that's left in there when we're trying to bust the bead, we won't, if we have some liquid left in there, it won't come on out and make a mess. And then we'll get to getting this tire off. Alright, I took the water valve out, and we're going to use that to kind of get us a place started. And then here is the bead buster that I was talking about. Bought it on their website, and goes down in there, that clamps like that, and boop, pushes the bead off. So it's pretty daggum slick and handy, and it makes short work of this. So that's pretty daggum slick. Pushes it right off the bead. And then depending on how stuck on the tire is, this one honestly wasn't that long ago when it was last off. So I might be able to go around and with that and just go ahead and get it broke off. I need to loosen up my valve stem here so that can be pushed on in, and we'll get this rest of this tire broke off. We got that side broke off, and now we'll just go on the inside and do it again. And we can start peeling this tire off. Alright, so now that we got this outside off here, go ahead and pull this tube down and get it out, and any leftover fluid that's in it, we'll pump it out, and then we'll get the rest of the tire broke off the rim, get the rim cleaned up, and get ready to slap the new tire on it. Well, we got the tire off. Now, this rim's pretty good. It looks like it's a fairly new rim, which is surprising considering how rusted this crap is. But we're just going to take the grinder and wire wheel, kind of go around this valve stem. See, there's like a piece of metal that's sticking out that could pop that valve stem. Just try to go over it and take care of anything like that, and then get that fixed, and we'll be ready to slap the new tire and tube on it. Well, we got a little bit of an issue, as you can see. I knew that this was pretty, it's surprising to see how clean this rim is. It looks fairly like a newish rim, but I know that, you know, it probably leaked or something. This is why I hate this calcium stuff, but it has eaten this rim up. So I thought about throwing, like, you know, just a piece of metal on here. I might do that, or I might try to, you know, I might throw like a piece of metal over top of this and then go on the inside and throw some welds on it and just kind of reinforce this area, because the thing is it's just gonna, it already started rusting like that. It's just gonna keep doing it, and it'll get water in there and all that, and then that's just not good on the tube to set on that either. So we're gonna go in and kind of reinforce this and clean this hole up here, because it's pretty jagged and rusty and all that, and really thin. So we'll just kind of reinforce this area and go from there, and hope that it holds. Well, there it is. Now, don't judge my welds. I do not claim to be a welder, but got all that welded up in there, and I'm gonna take the grinder and clean all that up, and then we'll go in from the inside and we'll drill a hole up in there for the valve stem. Alrighty, well, we have got our rim patched, threw a little paint on there. It ain't perfect by any means, but we are more after functionality than perfection, so, or look, you know, so it'll do the job, strengthen that area up, and actually have just one hole. So we took and just drilled that out and got that good, and now we're ready to slap the new tire, new tube on this thing, and get to getting. And once we get the new tube on it, new tire on it, we'll pump it up, make sure everything looks good, and we'll throw the fluid back in it. So we'll get to it. It's not fun. Changing tires is not what I get joy out of, but it needs to be done, and at least I can do it, so that's always a plus. But just trying to look funny, but anyhow, but we're gonna get this tire put on here. Alrighty, well, we got the tire on the rim. We're gonna throw some air in that, and then we're gonna rotate this valve stem back up so that can kind of fall to the bottom. If not, that tube will have a hard time setting that bead right, and it'll set over here and then not want to set up here and all that. So just kind of cross your fingers and hope you did it right now. I'm just gonna keep an eye on how this thing's filling up, and once we get it filled up and everything looks good, we will be ready to put the fluid back in it. Alright, we are getting ready to put the fluid back in and letting the air back out of the tube. And I'm sorry, I think the time lapse, I think my camera quit working, so some of that might be missing, I don't know. But anyhow, so everything's set on the bead. We've got the pulled the water valve out, and one thing I kind of learned, a little trick that I learned, is when you're filling these back up, you don't always get a really tight seal, and you'll get some that leaks out. So I throw a little bit of thread tape on there, and that seals it right up. And so once the air finishes coming out of there, we will hook our hose back up, and we'll start pumping fluid, and we'll put half the fluid that's in here back in this side, and then we'll turn the tractor around and do it all over again. I don't know if you can see it, but she's flowing through there. Huh. Looks like I need to tighten my connection there. I don't know. I got a little bit of leak right there. So, it's alright. Well, oh shit. About 200, so we'll go to right there. Right at the bottom of that. Making weird noises. I don't like it. Alrighty, well, we got all the fluid in it, so we're gonna top it off with some air. So, well, now we just have to, we'll let the jack down and get this thing turned around, and I'll fill up the other tire on the other side, and we will be good to go. And then I think we might change the oil on it, but that is all I have for you all today. I appreciate you hanging out with me, changing this tire and going through that. Hopefully, hopefully maybe somebody found that entertaining or educational. Like I said, I'm no tire pro expert, but I have changed a few, and it ain't fun, but it ain't horrible. It ain't the worst thing I've ever done. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out the podcast on the fender. And with that, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So we will see you next time. I'm going to continue to fight this wind, and hopefully this turns out okay. I don't even know if y'all will be able to hear me, but hopefully so. And with that, stay warm and stay dry, because it's been a wet spring, and hopefully things will dry up and boys can get out planting and get into the fields and get to going with this year's season, and things will keep on growing, and we'll have a good year. So with that, we will see you next time.